You see, I think sometimes we're careless with our words because we don't want to think too deeply about it. And we're just like, well, just tell me all the, cliches about Christianity so I know what to say with someone suffering. Oh yeah, God's in control, things will get better. Is that true? I don't think so. Not always. Not when you really understand who God is. It's not always, God is not this black and white package thing. It's like a bunch of 10 cliches you just say to get through your life. How many of you guys, if you guys want to get married or are married, raise your hand. All right, so it's your goal is just to be in a marriage. You don't care if it's a healthy marriage. You don't care if it's intimate. You don't care if there's love. I just want to be in the marriage and that's it. Does anyone have that goal? I just want to get in the bare minimum. I got married and after that, that's it. I don't need to know. I don't need to keep getting to know my spouse. I don't have to study them. I don't need to know. Okay, if you guys have kids or want to have kids, is your goal just, I'm going to keep them alive? I don't need to really get to know them. I don't really need to figure out how to parent. Like, these are all secondary issues. The primary issues is I just keep my kids alive. Do you kind of see the problem when you start thinking in this way? Because I think sometimes Christians talk about our faith that way. Okay, Andrew, that's great, but, can you just tell me what do I have to believe? So I want to just get in. But is the goal just to get in? Right? Is the goal just to be in the kingdom and that's it? Or is the goal to actually have a healthy and thriving relationship with Christ that's impactful and matters? Is the goal just to survive or to actually fulfill the whole purpose that your Creator has made you to be? And so my argument is that in order to fully understand the full potential and the full purpose of what you're supposed to be, you have to understand the nuances as well of theology. Theology does matter. The analogy I give is that it's like learning a language. Now, can you get by with broken English, never taking an English class? Yeah, you can get by. You can order food, right? But the better you learn the language, the better you can articulate things. The more precise you can be, the clearer you can be. And so that's what theology is. It's all these things that we're learning about secondary issues or all these debates or spectrums. You're like, what does it matter? Well, this is helping you become more articulate about what you believe. This is helping you have a better, precise, clear understanding of who God is. Like, will it damn you to hell if you don't care about secondary issues? No. But wouldn't it be better to know God, not just to exist with God in the kingdom, but to actually know Him, right? Isn't it better to actually know your spouse and not just exist with your spouse? Do you see the analogy? So that's the point of why you guys should take theology courses. It's not, oh, well, doesn't matter. I'm in the kingdom. Oh, why should I even study the Bible? It matters. Because it's not a whether this is going to get you into heaven or not. This is a question of, do you know God? And the deeper you want to know God, there's no other way to know God besides His Word. And the way to know God through His Word, you got to actually be precise. You can't just dismiss things or just throw out cliches about God. If you're ever in a small group with me, which, you probably won't like it, I get very triggered, partly because I grew up in a very religious household where if I always had a difficult question or, something, I always get cliches thrown back at me. Well, God is in control and just trust God and, we all love Christ. He loves us, and that's all that matters in the end. If somebody says, if somebody is saying something like, well, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because God loves us, I'll be like, what do you mean by that? Like, how does God loving you dismiss this person going through a trial? How does knowing that God is in control, how does that explain all these trials and evils that people are going through? You see, I think sometimes we're careless with our words because we don't want to think too deeply about it. And we're just like, well, just tell me all the, cliches about Christianity so I know what to say with someone suffering. Oh yeah, God's in control, things will get better. Is that true? I don't think so. Not always. Not when you really understand who God is. It's not always, God is not this black and white package thing. It's like a bunch of 10 cliches you just say to get through your life. Instead, there's an intricacy, there's a nuance, there's a complexity to God and the things that He does, including creation, that warrants our attention and studying. So I say all that to say this lecture is not going to be a waste of time, because I know some people are like, this was such a big waste of time. Why are we talking about that? It's not a waste of time. You're like, when am I ever going to use this? I don't know. When are you ever going to understand A-E-I-O-U, sometimes Y? It comes up, right? When are you going to understand preposition? You're like, oh, I'm never going to. You are going to use it. You actually do use it. You just aren't aware of it. And the same way, these things we talk about creation, all the older, younger, all these things, you're like, that doesn't really matter. It does matter because the way we speak about God reflects the way we understand God as creator. That's the first picture of God in the Bible, is that He is creator. And so you don't just move past that picture. You got to really understand, what does it mean that he is creator? What are the implications here? What does it mean that he creates this way and not that way? Because whether you realize it or not, we speak and we assume a lot of things based on our own understanding of what we think it means that God is creator.